It's a much nicer quality picture.
You'll let us know when we're live, right?
It says it's live now. 9:59.
Good morning and welcome to Sunday. As you can tell, we're starting off a little bit differently than we have in the past. We've got a couple of friends here with us. They're going to keep us on track, won't they?
I hope so. It's a lot
We
to
need
ask.
somebody to do it. So we're so grateful that you are here joining us. We're broadcasting from Unity Spiritual Center of Woodstock in Woodstock, Illinois. And let's start with the prayer, and I nominate you.
Would you? Well, why don't we tell them who we are?
Oh, well, but I was going to do that afterwards. That's okay. You can.
I'll start with a prayer.
Okay.
So why don't we take a deep breath, everybody, and go within. We say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for this day that is our day. We claim this day in the name of you, in the name of God expressing as us, through us. And we make this a joyous day. We make this a day of possibility and of happiness and generosity. We make this a day of kindness and consideration for our fellow human beings who walk this path with us. Thank you, Spirit, for making this a day of acceptance and support. Thank you, Spirit, for making this a day of good health and healing and wellness and endless possibilities. We know that as we bring you into our lives with thoughts that I have just alluded to, that these thoughts will be ours today and these experiences will be ours today. We give thanks for that truth. We give thanks that we direct our lives and we are in control. By the mighty power in us, by the living Spirit of the living Christ, we say, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Welcome. Well, my name is MaryPatriece Raupp. I'm the spiritual leader here.
And I'm Reverend Tom, and it's just a joy to share this Sunday morning with you.
grateful here. We are a group that is more spiritual than religious. We believe that there is a power within each and every one of us that guides and directs us in all that we experience, all that we do, and as we listen to it more and more, we change and transform our own lives and those around us.
We do, and as I mentioned in the prayer, we have the power to create our lives, and I say we predict our future by creating it, and we do so by means of our thoughts. And that's what we mean by being spiritual, that the power is right here within us, and how blessed we are that we have that power.
I agree. So welcome again. And if at any point in this talk today, if it touches your heart or it inspires you in some way, we hope that you will feel blessed, and that as you feel blessed, that you would turn and bless this ministry by donating at unitywoodstock.org. We gratefully accept any contribution, no matter what size. It all helps us to continue to do the work that we are, and we continue to love what we do. So thank you for that, and thank you for your consideration. So today the talk title is, What is God? What is God?
Well, there's a talk title.
That's a big talk title, and we're going to try and trim this down as much as we can so that it's a manageable time frame, because this could go on for a long time, couldn't it?
It could, and what I like about this subject is, and this is the basis of Unity teachings, really. What is God, and then maybe what we are in a future talk. So.
And so as we move into, just before we move into our talk, we're going to go through our unity principles, because our talk is kind of based on one of them. I'll see if you can figure out which one.
Shall we
Yes,
affirm
let's do
them
it.
together?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good omnipotence.
The
The Christ Spirit lives within me. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. I experience God's presence and power through prayer and meditation. I put my faith into action by demonstration.
Wonderful. So can you tell which principle we're going to be talking about today?
I'd be glad to share that. Why don't we start with principle number 1? There is only one presence and one power in the universe, and in my life, God, the good omnipotence.
Yep, and unity is very strong in the belief and the insight that there is only one power, that God has no opposite that is in contrast, that causes any kind of conflict with that presence, that the only thing that we experience that we might call evil is our experience of how we use the power that we're given, because each and every one of us is a fountain or an access point for power. And as we choose our day, as we choose the things that mean something to us, or we choose what we want to create, we direct that power in the ways that we see fit, or the ways that maybe our feelings are guiding us to. And that might be, it's the same as, electricity. Electricity is available to all of us. It lights everything here. It's powering us to be able to be here with you and talk with you. But it can also be the energy and the power that starts an electric chair. So what is it? What is it that we want to bring through us? And what is it we want to bring power to? Because there is no evil in our minds. There is no evil, there's no devil. It's just how we direct what's within us to create what's outside of us.
And I think the basis of our spiritual beliefs and unity teachings is that God is not that human figure like we are up there in the clouds, punishing and rewarding us as He sees fit. I think that image was implanted in our mind by some wonderful Italian painters. And God is spirit. In fact, I often avoid using the word God just because even in my mind, it creates that human figure. In fact, one of our co-founders, Charles Fillmore, his definition of God is pure spirit. God is spirit everywhere available. And the very next sentence of that definition says, he, and then he goes on to explain God in terms of he. So even our co-founders have that paradigm in their mind, but it is a power within us that we get to direct. And as you said, it's like electricity or the power of the sun. The sun doesn't care if it shines to create a beautiful, beautiful rose or a ragweed or a pesky dandelion or a fertile field of corn or crops or an awful drought. It just knows to be the sun. Spirit just knows to be spirit. And the magic of that is we get to direct that power, and we get to direct what some would call good and some would call evil. But we have the power to do that. So, yeah.
To do it and to change it.
And to change it. Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we believe that God is the power that you are exercising in every moment. It is the basis of your thinking. It's the direction of your intention and your ideas and attention. As you direct that attention and intention, it begins the creative process. And it starts the energy and the movement of things that will attract to you and move from you out into the world. So where we're investing the majority of our attention and intention, that's the God within us. So what is my God? Where am I putting my thoughts?
Good question.
What are the majority of my thoughts around? Because that's the God I'm believing in right now. And is it the one I want to continue to believe in? So think about in your day, where are you? Where is your thinking? Is it in like ways that are prayerful? Is it in seeing the good around you? Is it in creating a moment for someone else or for yourself that is uplifting? Or is it in a direction that maybe doesn't feel as supportive or enjoyable? What is that looking like for you? And for some of us, if we think about, I would say, if I look at social media right now and I tune in and I look at the frequency with people being on that, and I look at what their posts are about, for some people, God is politics right now.
Right now it is, isn't it?
For some people it is politics. And if it doesn't go their way, if it doesn't show that it's moving in their direction, it's almost, the feeling is as if it's the end of the world is coming. It's that important to them and that passionate inside of them. So we think about shelter in place versus opening and restarting the economy. It's like there's one camp or another right now. And which one is the one that I'm in? And it's almost as though you have to choose, or else if you don't choose, there's something wrong with you. But is there another option that can supersede that and can create options instead of these two choices? Is there something that can supersede it? Is there a power greater than these two perspectives? Let's go back to that power. Let's go back within and see about accessing that and using all the strategies that we have to access it and find out what will happen, what can happen. Because right now we know what's happening, but we don't know what the possibilities are, what could happen if we changed our attention and intention. We've set up the economy. I think about this, we're talking, the economy is a big topic right now, and I think, but who set that up? We did as a human race. We set up the parameters, we set up the rules, we set up how it was going to happen. So we are also the ones empowered to make things change, to create flexibility, to create solutions. We have that potential in us. It is not as though it was given to us and we have to follow that rule to the nth degree. It is a moment where we're realizing the rules that we've put in place are no longer healthy for what is happening right now. And we're in a place of looking to create something new, different, out of the box, inspired, that looks at everything and opens to all the needs of what we have in front of us.
Yeah, what I'm hearing you talk about is adaptability and flexibility. And we've really shown, I think our culture has demonstrated those qualities to the nth degree. I mean, we are here doing Facebook Live. 3 months ago, if you said we were doing this, we'd say, we're planning to do it someday. Well, we had to become adaptable and flexible, and thank you to all those who have helped us. And today it's George and Lori are helping us present to you today, and thank you for that. And in regarding Zoom, now board meetings that used to be kind of sequestered events that were somewhat secretive and certainly talked about essential elements of businesses are now broadcast on Zoom. And so that's one level of adaptability and flexibility. But the level beyond that is that sometimes during these meetings, the president of the board may be giving some kind of epistle on the business, and their child will come into the room and tug at their shirt, and say, "Dad or Mom, not right now, honey. Go see your dad or your mom," and we all just accept that now. You would never accept that in a previous board meeting, but we can find ways. And so I think two of the issues now I see that have, again, polarized our culture is that of shelter in place and that of reopening. And in some ways you could say, God, it doesn't seem like a win-win because somebody loses each way. But I think we have the ability to make our God, instead of shelter in place or reopening, some kind of I don't like the word, some type of win-win where the needs of both sides are met in a healthy way. And to just know there's an answer, I believe that you can't ask a question without the answer being within you. In fact, the question is the answer wanting to come out. So what if we made our God, our focus in our life? How can we make this work for my brother and sister, no matter what they think or how they feel? How can we do that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the power of God is a creative force. And Einstein quoted, "We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them."
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you believe God is, that will be your experience of God. Whatever you believe, if your thoughts are tuned into looking for the potential solution, you're going to experience that. It's going to come through. If your thoughts are tuned into the fear of what if, we are forced into reopening. What if I'm forced to go back to a work that I'm not sure I'm ready to do because of what I'm experiencing and my concerns for my health? Or I'm concerned, I have concern about being home and staying here prolonged because I have financial obligations to me. Where is my perspective living right now? Where is my energy sitting right now? In those two camps, there's not many places you can go to that are not going to be in conflict with each other. But there is a place within that you can go to that there is no conflict. Would you agree?
I would, and unity will teach you that whatever you believe God is will be your experience of it. If you believe that God is the human figure out there administering punishment and reward, your life experience will reflect that belief, and it will be that belief. I mean, we've seen in this age we've seen the Mother Teresa's of the world where her belief in God was just a give and give and give, and then we've seen some awful, horrendous ideas of what God is through some of the terrorism that we've seen. And whatever you're believing is your experience. So why not believe, as you said earlier, it's the most individualized experience we could have, that our experience of God.
It is.
And to me, the challenge is as a race is to define an infinite God by means of our finite thinking minds. Do we know what infinity is? I remember way back when I was on a driving trip and I thought driving through Nebraska was infinity. I mean, it was like, holy mackerel, miles and miles of straight road and corn on each side. No offense to the residents of Nebraska, please put this in context. But how do we grasp what a universe is and what a God of the universe is? I don't know how. And yet we have the ability to take that infinite power and presence and direct it in the directions we want it. And what I'm wondering is, God, unity teaches that God is good, right? And I'll just speak for myself. The pandemic and the shelter in place has not affected me in an adverse way. Okay, so I can sit here and spout off that all you need to do is believe and trust. But what if I was in a position where I thought I was going to be homeless because of my finances, or I can't get my kids the medical attention they need because I can't afford it, or what? So unity is teaches that God is good. If I were fearful of those things, where would I see the good in that? Mm-hmm. So I'll ask you that question.
Well, God is in this. When we are asking the questions, we're opening to the solutions. When we are focusing our attention and being receptive to the ideas that are out there that we have no awareness of, the sources that there are no awareness of in our minds or experience at this point in time, because we're one point in a whole universe. When we open to that and we put the question out there, we're calling forth the answer. And as we stay open to that, I truly believe and know from personal experience that the answer will come.
So the good then is asking the question,
Mm-hmm.
is believing there's another way.
I agree. And it feels to me like the pandemic is like a magnifying glass that's emphasizing what you believe.
Isn't it? Yeah.
What you're believing in or what your consciousness is. What's your go-to when something like this happens? And it's okay, whatever that might be. You have a choice at any moment to change that and make it something different if that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. And so I think this is a good time for each of us, including myself, to ask ourselves the question, given these present circumstances we're in, do I want to stay with the God I'm currently believing in and the belief system I believe in how it works, or do I want it to be different? So do I want the pandemic to create me and my belief system, or do I want my belief system to create my experience of the pandemic? Will I allow the outer experiences to kind of control my God thoughts, or will I say, hold on here, I'm in control here, I have the power? Do I allow those thoughts and that power of spirit in me to direct my thinking to create solutions instead of polarities? Will I allow my outer experiences to become my God or my inner power?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it was so funny because as we were working on this talk together, there are God moments in my mind. And I had a God moment. I'm like, Tom, you got to hear this. I went online, and the first story that popped up was a Michael Bernard Beckwith story, and he was talking about this woman that came to see him for counseling, and she sat down in his office and she said, okay, Michael, I don't want to hear any spiritual mumbo jumbo. I don't want to hear any forgiveness crap. All I want you to do, I want you to focus on my ex-husband so that he will pay me the alimony and the child support he owes me. That's all I want. And he talked about how he's like, she kind of limited my idea of what we were going to work on. And so he said, well, as I'm sitting down and working with her and trying to work within the parameters that she set, he said, I started talking with her about what was available inside her. And he said, 2 days later, she called me up and she said, I had this dream. She said, I had this dream. I was walking down the hallway in my home, and on the wall was a picture of my ex-husband. And she said, in my mind, I took that picture off the wall and I put a picture of God up instead. Mm-hmm. And she said, what does that mean? And he said, you know what that means is you've taken down the idea that your ex-husband is the source of your abundance. And you have put up an image of what God is for you and shifted. Because she shifted, it was a week later, she went to lunch with a friend of hers who brought another friend of hers, and he started talking with her and saying he wanted to know more about her. He enjoyed what he was hearing, wanted to know what her skills were. So she shared, and he ended up eventually hiring her at more money than she's ever made before. 2 weeks later, after that, her ex-husband paid her the back child support and all the money he owed her and more, because she had gone from changing her perspective of the situation, her perspective was the solution, to her idea of what God is the solution. And it turned everything around for her. And I believe we can do that. Mm-hmm. I can believe that we can do that today. I know we can. There is a power much greater than ourselves that has more possibilities we can ever imagine, and the power to create them and bring them in for us. All we have to do is be receptive and ask the questions. What is the God that I want in my life? What is God in my life right now?
So what I'm hearing you say as we close this time mm-hmm. together is that just like that woman's dream, we can take down the picture of the way we think it is.
Or has to be.
Mm-hmm. And then put up another picture of what we really want as an outcome, and it'll come.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow. So.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Nicely done.
Nicely done. And in closing, I just want to wish all of you the best possible experience of God is in your today, in your life, bringing about the insights, the ideas that move you to a better place, a better experience of your reality, whatever that might look like to you. I know it's personal for each one of us. Mm-hmm. And did you want to add anything?
I just say, I agree. I think, here's the power. The power is when you look in the mirror, you're looking at God in the way you look at a wave is to the ocean. It's an expression of that huge power. So use it in ways that promote what you really want to see in your life and the lives of others.
Great. So with that, we'll conclude. We got a couple of announcements this week. We have our Quest book study on Wednesday night, and we are excited. We will be going into talking about what is God mm-hmm. into more detail with each other and how we experience that. And then I believe next Saturday is another Christ Mind gathering, and at 10:30. So for more programs, please visit our website to find out all the things that we offer. We're glad you're here. I would love to be able to invite you to a Zoom session after this, but I see from my good friend Carol that Zoom meetings aren't working right now. So we may have to postpone that until next week. So I appreciate each and every one of you joining us this morning. Shall we close out with the prayer for protection? And I'm so grateful for George and Lori being here. Look for more. We've got music. That's the thing. Oh, I should say that. Next week we're going to have Ken here playing with us. So we're slowly adding some new increments in pieces to our Sunday. So stay tuned.
So ready? We won't be doing a Zoom meeting
we
after
won't
this
be able
because
to do
of the technical.
Yeah.
Do you want to try?
Technical.
We could try. Yeah, we'll try it and see what happens. And if we can get through, then we'll see you there.
We'll ask the question and we'll find the answer.
There you go. All right, let's finish with our prayer for protection. The
The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And so it is.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a great week.
Happy Sunday. We hope we see you on Zoom.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yay.